On this episode of the Hanford Insider, Rob will give us an inside look into the recently opened City of Hanford 1976 Bicentennial Time Capsule. And he'll tell us how we can contribute to the Tricentennial Time Capsule that will be opened in the year 2076. We'll also check in on the busy community calendar. This is the Hanford Insider for Monday, July 27th.
Hey everybody, welcome to Season 4 of the Hanford Insider Podcast, your front row seat to the people, places, history, and events making Hanford and Kings County such a special place to call home. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and each week we'll introduce you to local leaders, business owners, community organizations, and everyday people who are making a difference. We'll also explore our rich local history, spotlight upcoming events, highlight local sports, and share the stories that connect our community. Whether you've lived here your whole life or you're just discovering all that Hanford has to offer, thanks for joining us. Now let's get started with this week's episode of the Hanford Insider. Over the last few weeks, I took some time off from this show to slow down a little bit and regain some perspective heading into this new chapter of my life after retiring from a 36-year teaching career. I also had the opportunity to talk about the show with community members, including the Rotary Club of Hanford, so I'd like to give their members a special shout-out for their words of encouragement. Following up on a few topics from earlier shows, the Hanford Freedom Fest celebration at the Hanford Softball Complex on the 4th of July was very successful, and I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes an annual event. The City of Hanford sent out over 30 fines for illegal fireworks use over the holiday, totaling more than $100,000. I don't know about you, but from what I saw, there seemed to be a lot less illegal fireworks use citywide. That one guy in my neighborhood, though, I don't think he got the message. He shot them off for days. At the City Council meeting last week, the talk of data centers and flock cameras brought a capacity crowd to the council chambers on Tuesday night. After hearing from 30 or so speakers, they decided that the issues warrant a special study session, so it will be on a future agenda item. It's my understanding that there will be a special town hall meeting at the Episcopal Church of the Savior on Friday, August 28th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. to discuss these issues. Lastly, in City Council news, Councilman Lou Martinez announced on Thursday afternoon that he will not be seeking re-election in November in Area D. As one community member commented, Lou was always an advocate for those who needed it most, and I could not agree more. Congratulations, Lou, on a job well done, and thank you for your service to our community. In 1976, our country celebrated our nation's bicentennial with a full year of parades and celebrations. Hanford and Kings County were especially invested in the party. Led by Les Collins, Joe Crane, Joe and Lila Barros, a whole committee of people from all over Hanford prepared a time capsule to be buried in front of the new, at that time, Hanford Police Station. For 2 months, they solicited items to be placed in that capsule that represented life in Hanford in 1976. The capsule was 12 inches in diameter and 4 feet in length. The community responded and the capsule was completely filled. On November 15, 1976, there was a ceremony and the time capsule was buried shortly afterwards. On Thursday, July 9th, the 1976 Bicentennial Time Capsule was opened to a large and enthusiastic crowd. These items contained in the time capsule will be on display at the Carnegie Museum of Kings County, August 10th through the 15th, during Hanford's 135th birthday celebration. It'll be open in the morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday that week, and on Tuesday and Thursday evening from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. During the exhibition, we'll be accepting items for consideration to be placed in the new time capsule. The items must have a direct connection to life in Hanford in 2026. Pictures, copies of important records, statistics, membership rolls of organizations, churches, employee rosters, event programs, materials from America's 250th. You get the idea. Visitors to the exhibit will also be able to record messages to be played in a new time capsule that will be opened in 2076 during our nation's tricentennial celebration. Items will be collected through the end of 2026, and then the new time capsule will be sealed and buried at the new public safety building during that building dedication in a few years. It'll be opened during our nation's tricentennial celebration in 2076. Over the last week or so, I've had the unique opportunity to begin curation of the contents of this time capsule, and I've been blown away at the items in there. Being a podcaster, I've especially enjoyed listening to the cassette tapes of newscasts by George Eddy and Dean Johnson of KLAN and KNGS radio stations. They not only covered the ceremony, but provided tapes of interviews with citizens. There were some tapes of a city council meeting that didn't come out well, but the others came out pretty good. Mayor Bob Hill even made a tape with predictions of what Hanford would be like in 2026. Here's a wrap-up of the time capsule event with KLAN's Radio's Dean Johnson.
Well, a time capsule to be buried for the next 50 years was officially dedicated today in Hanford, but won't actually go into Mother Earth for a few days because various items must still be produced and gathered. For instance, this newscast and the recorded ceremony and news coverage of the event today. KNGS and KKYS, Hanford's first and newest FM station, will be represented in a tape montage of our programming and service to the community of Hanford, as will other portions of life in Hanford during our bicentennial year. Les Collins, chairman of the Hanford Bicentennial Committee, mentioned just a few of the items inside the capsule.
Some of the things that are of interest that we have received, we have a letter that will go in the capsule from the President of the United States, congratulating Hanford on bearing the capsule. We have a tape made from about 7 of the pioneers of the area, and we call it Reflection 76. And this is about 7 people who have lived here, probably a total of about 350 years. We also will have a city council meeting tape. We'll have statements from the mayor, from the Board of Supervisors, city council agenda, reports from some of our industry, reports from organizations in the city, such as some of our service clubs, from our schools, from our county district superintendent schools, from the banks, from garden clubs, from just pretty well a cross-section representation of the area. And we feel as 50 years from now, this will be a pretty fair interest to most of the people.
We asked him what kind of reaction the community showed when the request went out for memorabilia of the city of Hanford.
It has been real fine. We started about June of this year collecting things, and response was a little slow, but then we had a lot of commitments for it, and those have come in, and it's been great. We did have the capsule on display a number of places that people saw, and I actually received calls from people saying, we saw your capsule, and we have something to go in it, and we've gotten a lot of very interesting things for the capsule.
During the ceremony this afternoon, Hanford Mayor Bob Hill spoke directly to the youth in the crowd.
These are our representatives. For sure, they will be here 50 years from now when we bring the time capsule up. And these are the youth, and my message to you is that we must count on you. You are youth today to be our leaders tomorrow and to carry on. Without you, there won't be a 50th year. We won't make the 2026. It takes you young Americans, to carry on. So I think it's very important that you're here today and represent your various schools and our future community of Hanford, because you are future Hanford. Many of us will not be here. God willing, I hope I will. I was figuring out I could be 87. I may make that.
Among the dignitaries present were the Board of Supervisors, the Hanford City Council, Admiral Robert McKenzie of the Light Attack Wing Pacific Fleet, and Lamorne NAS Commanding Officer Captain James B. Busey, representatives from Congressman John Krebs and Senator Howard Way, among others representing local organizations. The time capsule, red, white, and blue in color naturally, will be sealed and buried in the front lawn of the new police station with a plaque requesting it to be opened in the year 20 26. Inside, a letter requests that the contents be displayed at various public buildings and then be reburied for another 50 years to be unearthed during the nation's tricentennial.
Several of the other tapes were recorded by George Eddy. Many Hanford old-timers will remember George's news reporting every morning and afternoon. When I was a child, I remember my parents listening to the radio news each morning. Here's a sample clip from one of George Eddy's newscasts in 1976.
A very pleasant good morning to you. This is George Eddy reporting KLAN News for E&P Tire Service, home of dependable service for 39 years, and for the working man's store for guys and gals. Now, we'll have the local news after this. Look, man escaped with $350 from 8th Liquor Store on East Lacey Boulevard in Hanford about 6:30 p.m. yesterday, after clerk Edwin Lockwood tried unsuccessfully to grab their gun before being forced into a storage room from which he was able to break out. Lockwood told Officer Pete Mose that the first of two black men wearing turbans brought 2 cans of beer to the counter, then began looking at magazines. Lockwood said a second man brought a loaf of bread to the counter, asked for change for a $5 bill, then with a .22 caliber gun held under the bread, ordered Lockwood back. A brief tussle followed before the 61-year-old clerk was pushed into the storeroom, and the pair fled with the contents of the open cash register. Hanford's newly elected Councilman Norman Ulrich was sworn into office last night by City Clerk Lynn Bonus, bringing the council up to its full complement of 5 for the first time since the resignation of Abel Morales last spring. The term expires in March 1978. In his acceptance remarks, Ulrich said he felt the council has been doing a good job and expects it to continue so in a spirit of harmony. He said he stands for what is best for Hanford, not any particular area, and will always be ready to listen to people. Ulrich said there were 2 questions about his 650-vote victory over former Vice Mayor Earl Himovitz. How did you do it, and how much did it cost? He said he conducted a door-to-door campaign, working till he was tired and then talking more. He had a platform of economy and equal representation, and said he listened, never cutting anyone short. This, he felt, got other people working for him and created the kind of enthusiasm that wins. Ulrich said his campaign machine consisted of Tom Bowes, financial manager of a budget of $168.18, and also a door-to-door campaigner. Ulrich also singled out Roy and Kathy Wilson, who were in the audience, his wife Virginia, and daughters Gail and Janice, whom he put to work when they were in town. He said he was pleased that it was a clean campaign, free of any mudslinging. Cable television for the unincorporated area around the city of Hanford may have moved closer to reality yesterday, when county supervisors approved the request of franchise holder Hanford Cable Company to disassociate itself from Warner Communications of New York and proceed unilaterally toward a Federal Communications Commission certificate of compliance. Under the agreement, the Warner Corporation will continue as the sole franchise holder of Inland Cable Company, which has operated in Avenel for several years. Tentative approval has also been given by the Hanford City Council to reinstate Hanford Cable Company as the sole franchise holder within the city. Attorney Bill Dunn said the disassociation from Warner appears to be the only feasible way to expedite cable TV for the area. They also agreed on a name for a road running along the Hanford High School West Campus, which the school didn't want. It will be known, as it always has been, as Campus Drive. Money was also transferred for its development. The Kings County Association of Master Barbers and Beauticians of America, Chapter 528 of Hanford, are sponsoring a hairstyling demonstration at Kings Mall Shopping Center Thursday, November the 11th at 7 p.m. Diane Westfall of Citrus Heights will conduct a 3-hour demonstration of hairstyling using the latest techniques in long hair shaping. Local AMBBA President Ernest Correll of Corcoran invites all barbers and beauticians to attend. Anyone wishing to be a model may contact John Carrillo, Education Chairman, by calling 584-5909. Now we'll have more after this.
As you could tell, we are very excited to partner with the City of Hanford to be able to display the 1976 time capsule, and we hope to see you the week of August 10th at the Carnegie Museum of Kings County. For more information, you can visit the website at carnegiemuseumofkingscounty.org. Now let's take a look at this week's community calendar. At this week's Thursday Night Marketplace, it's Picnic in the Park Night with music by Back Harlow Road. The City of Hanford is sponsoring a senior wellness workshop on Wednesday, July 29th at 8 a.m. in the Hanford Civic Auditorium. The Remington is holding Pause for a Clause on Wednesday, July 29th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Sierra Pacific High School Golden Bear Classic Golf Tournament will be held on Monday, August 3rd at the Kings Country Club. Finally, the movie Finding Dory will be shown at the Hanford Plunge Dive-In Movie on Friday, August 7th at 8 p.m. If you have an event coming up, large or small, and you'd like some help getting the word out, let's work together. Send your information to hanfordinsider@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to my weekly newsletter to get a complete calendar of events. It's the most comprehensive community calendar available. And that wraps things up for this week's show. We're looking forward to a full sports report from Eric coming up with a preview of the high school football season. That'll be in about 2 weeks. If you're enjoying the podcast and you want to support it, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/Hanford Insider to make a donation, or you can Venmo me directly. To stay connected, join the Hanford Insider email list at hanfordinsider.com. You'll get weekly updates plus an exclusive newsletter delivered right to your inbox. I also really appreciate your help spreading the word by liking and sharing on social media, or, like most people, just telling a friend. Don't forget, if you have a story idea, community event, or someone you think deserves to be featured, I'd love to hear from you. Email me anytime at hanfordinsider@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, and YouTube at Hanford Insider for more content and updates. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful week.